Okay, students, good morning to all. Welcome to Chemistry Online. In previous class, we discussed 6th A group elements introduction and some important topics. In this class, we are going to discuss ozone preparation and chemical properties. We are going to discuss. It is very important question for 8 marks. Preparation, write the preparation of ozone and its chemical properties. It's very important question we are going to discuss. How ozone is prepared means we are going to discuss in this class. That is nothing but preparation of ozone. Okay, so how ozone is prepared means when a cold dry stream of oxygen gas is sent into silent electric discharge, then oxygen molecule can be converted into ozone with help of electricity. So we are going to prepare. So here principle you have to know first. So what is the principle means? Oxygen can be converted into ozone. So here it is a reversible reaction. If you take three oxygen molecules that can be converted into ozone, here plus delta H. So here delta H equal to plus 146 kilojoules per mole. Plus 146 kilojoules per mole. So energy is required. So here oxygen gas sent into silent electric discharge. Silent electric discharge. Silent electric discharge. So this is nothing but preparation of ozone. So first of all, you know, so when cold and dry stream of oxygen is sent through silent electric discharge. Silent electric discharge, then ozone is formed. Here it is endothermic reaction. See here delta H equal to 146 kilojoules per mole. Energy is required. So here it is endothermic reaction. See here ozone contains here discharge, then ozone is formed. Here forming ozone is only 10% of ozone is mixed with oxygen. 10% of ozone is formed. 10% of ozone is formed, which is mixed with oxygen. It is called ozonized oxygen. ozonized oxygen. Okay, when cold dry steam of O2 is sent through silent electric discharge, then ozone is formed. It is endothermic reaction. 10% of oxygen is ozone is formed. Only 10% of ozone is formed, which is mixed with oxygen. It is called ozonized oxygen. See here, it is necessary to use, it is necessary to use silent electric discharge. Silent electric discharge. Okay, it is necessary to use silent electric discharge because it prevents the decomposition of ozone into oxygen. Okay, it is prevent the decomposition of ozone into O2 because it is prevent the decomposition of O3 into O2. So here silent electric discharge is compulsory, we have to use. See one more here, if the concentration of the ozone is required more than 10%, then ozonizers can be used. If more concentration of ozone is required more than 10%, then if concentration of O3 is required more than 10%, then ozonizers can be used. Ozonizers can be used. So if the concentration of O3 is required more than 10%, here formed ozone is only 10%. So if you want to require more than 10%, then what happened? Ozonizers can be used. Ozonizers means for the preparation of ozone we are using equipments is called ozonizer, like this Siemens ozonizer, Brody's ozonizer, like that. So it is nothing but a preparation of ozone. See what I mean to say here, principle, 3 molecules of O2 sent into silent electric discharge, it gives rise to 2 molecules of O3 plus delta H. Delta H equal to 146 kilojoules per mole energy is required. So when cold and dry steam of O2 is sent through silent electric discharge, then O3 is formed. It is endothermic reaction. 10% of ozone is formed, which is mixed with oxygen. It is ozonized oxygen. Then it is necessary to use silent electric discharge. It is prevent the decomposition of O3 into oxygen. So oxygen means ozone is easily decomposes into oxygen and nascent oxygen. So due to releasing of nascent oxygen, it is act as a strong oxidizing agent. Okay, see here, it is if the ozone contains only 10%, if more than 10% means so you have to use ozonizers can be used. Okay, so this is nothing but a preparation of ozone. Next, chemical reactions. Next, chemical reactions. So chemical reactions first, a reaction with reaction with C2H4. It is nothing but ethene. Okay, see here, CH2 double bond CH2. It is nothing but ethene reacts with ozone. Okay, here double bond will be breaks, and then CH2 single bond, CH2 single bond like this. It is nothing but ethene ozonide is formed. Ethene ozonide is formed. Again reacts with the zinc dust dissolved in water. HCHO. HCHO means 2HCHO. Formaldehyde is formed plus H2O2 is formed. So here it is called formaldehyde. Formaldehyde. So this is nothing but a reaction with C2H4. Then a reaction with Hg. Reaction with Hg means mercury. See here, when mercury reacts with ozone, which forms Hg2O plus O2. It is mercury it is mercury, it is mercurous oxide. Mercurous oxide. So 3 oxygens, 2 plus 1. See here, you have to know tailing of mercury. It is very important. Tailing of mercury, very important it is. 2 marks. So what is the tailing of mercury means? Mercury having meniscus. Meniscus means if you take mercury in this, it will give this type of this is called meniscus. It is called meniscus. If you take mercury which gives meniscus and a lustrous nature. Lustrous nature means shiningness. Lustrous nature, LUSTROUS, lustrous nature. But it does not stick to the glass. Not stick. Not sticking nature. Not a sticking nature. So what I mean to say, mercury having meniscus, next lustrous nature, it is a stick to the, it does not stick to the glass. When mercury reacts with ozone, it forms mercurous oxide. Mercury reacts with ozone, it forms mercurous oxide. Mercurous oxide loses its meniscus and lustrous nature, and it is a stick to the glass. The way of sticking to the glass is called tailing of mercury. Tailing of mercury. Okay, see here, mercurous oxide, mercury having meniscus, lustrous nature and not sticking to the It does not sticking nature. When mercury reacts with ozone, it forms mercurous oxide. Mercurous oxide loses its meniscus and its lustrous nature, and it is a stick to the glass. Okay, mercury reacts with ozone, mercurous oxide Hg2O is formed. Hg2O is formed. Then it loses its meniscus and lustrous nature. And lustrous nature, it becomes stick to the glass, stick to the glass vessel. Okay, it is nothing but tailing of mercury. Mercury reacts with the ozone, Hg2O is formed, then it loses its meniscus and a lustrous nature, then it becomes a stick to the glass. The way of sticking mercury to the glass is called tailing of mercury. So meniscus means like this. If you take mercury in the glass vessel, so it seems to be like this. That is called meniscus, and it having shining nature. Shining nature is nothing but a lustrous nature. So mercury does not stick to the glass. If you see, mercury does not stick to the glass. When it is reacts with ozone, mercurous oxide stick to the glass. Next, it is first one, second one chemical reactions. So it is chemical reaction, second one. Next one, a reaction with Ki. Reaction with Ki. See here, Ki reacts with O3 in presence of water. Then it forms KOH plus I2 plus O2. O2. If you take 2, 2K, 2K, 2I, I2, 3 plus 1, 4, 2 plus 2, 4. It is potassium iodide. It is potassium iodide. It is potassium hydroxide. Potassium hydroxide. It is a iodine. So Ki can be forms iodine. Okay. So then next reaction with PBS. PBS. It is called lead sulfide. PBS reacts with ozone, which gives rise to PbSO4 plus O2. If you take 4, 4 3s are 12, 4, 4 2s are 8, balanced. So it is nothing but lead sulfide, which is black color. Lead sulfide black color. It is lead sulfate white color. It is a lead sulfate white color. So here O3 is oxidizing agent. So lead sulfide O3 oxidizes lead sulfide to lead sulfate. So these are reactions. Okay, 4 marks only reactions and 8 marks preparation plus reactions. Okay, then we will discuss structures of SO2 and SO3. We will discuss the structures of SO2 and SO3. Next here, you have to know a note. Note O3 is a powerful oxidizing agent. Powerful oxidizing agent because it releases nascent oxygens. Nascent oxygen. See, O3 gives rise to O2 plus nascent oxygen. This is a decomposition. Decomposition. Due to releasing nascent oxygen, So it can be act as a powerful oxidizing agent. Next you have to know structures of SO2 and SO3. SO2 and SO3. Okay, see here, atomic number of sulfur 16, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p4. It is valency shell electronic configuration. 2 electrons, 1, 2, 3. See here, first 3 orbitals undergoes hybridization. sp2 hybridization can be takes place. Okay, so here SO2, here SO3. See here, sulfur is the central atom having lone pair, single bond and a double bond. So here it is sp1p2, sp2 hybridization. So here 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4. Okay, shape of the molecule is angular. Shape of the molecule is angular. Okay, so bond angle 118 degrees, nearly 117 degrees, 117 degrees due to repulsion between lone pair and bond pair. So here 2 sigma bonds, 1 pi bond, 1 pi bond. Then shape of the molecule is angular. If you take this one, double bond O, double bond O, double bond O, it is trigonal planar. Trigonal planar. See here, bond angle is 120 degrees. Bond angle is 120 degrees. How many sigma bonds? 3 sigma bonds. How many pi bonds? 3 pi bonds. Okay, so this is here no repulsion. No repulsion, no lone pairs. So this is the structure of SO2 and SO3. Both are undergoes sp2 hybridization. It is also sp2 hybridization. This is structure of SO2 and SO3. So this is briefly today's class.